Crazy.
And we are. Welcome to the Basketball Zone YouTube channel. We're back. It's been a while. Last Monday was the last time we posted about Keegan Murray, Summer League MVP, being better than Marvin Bagley. I hope you guys enjoyed that title because it was intentional. It's not the fact that I don't like Marvin. It's just the fact that I just don't really, I just dislike him a lot. So I had to, just throw that in there. It was a good turnout on that episode, but my child is not here yet. So I said, you know what? Let's do a live show today. Lots of news, big time news, really, that could potentially shake up the NBA. And that's Kevin Durant heading to the Boston Celtics. Potentially Spider Mitchell going to New York, the Wizards, the Kings. Lots of teams put their names in the big hat there because we all know that the Utah Jazz will ask for a lot. Who has the most to offer? We'll talk about that right now, man. But first and foremost, Vince, my brother, how you doing, man? Haven't seen you in a long time.
I know, man. It's been a minute. Last time we saw each other was a hooping session. That was the last time we got to really. The last time we had was when you were on my show when we talked about Malik Monk. How you guaranteed he's going to be a starter. You still standing by that guarantee?
Guaranteed.
He's starting over Kevin Huerter?
Guarantee. He's starting over Kevin Huerter, man. Which is, again, it's his spot to lose. Either way, I don't mind who starts. It doesn't matter. Like, they're both good shooters, so you need that around Sabonis and Fox. But yes, today's news kind of shook the whole NBA, man, where the Brooklyn Nets surprisingly turned down a trade involving Jaylen Brown. Vince, they asked for Marcus Smart. Are you surprised?
No, they want to get. I mean, I'm surprised in the fact that a deal hasn't gotten done at this point. But at the same time, I mean, if I'm the Nets, I'm like, man, I'm giving up under contract for 4 year Kevin Durant. Like, you guys were in the NBA final. I'm basically guaranteed.
Yeah, but he's 34 though. He's 34 and hasn't played about 60 games in 4 years.
I mean, the worst they can do is say no. I mean, they rejected it and countered with Marcus Smart. Now it's on the Celtics to decide what they want to do.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it if they want Marcus Smart, because now I'm dismantling a lot of my team. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you brought in Brogdon. Brogdon was a big game changer to put the ball in his hands, and you're taking the ball out of Smart's hands already. So Smart was going to become a primary just defender.
He was going back to what he's great at, and that's what you need him to do.
Think about a starting lineup like this, though, where it's Malcolm Brogdon, Derek White, Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, and Robert Williams.
So they asked, so they proposed Derek White and Jaylen Brown. They said no. So are you saying you're swapping Marcus for Derek?
Derek White. If you're the Nets, that's what I mean. Give me Marcus Smart then. We want to still be competitive. We want Marcus Smart. We want Jaylen Brown. That'll get the conversation started for me. And then they say yes or no to that. Because if you're looking at it from the net side, you're like, look how competitive your team is. I mean, look at that. You brought in Brogdon. You have an automatic replacement because it's not like Derek White's not a good defender. And offensively, they're essentially the same. I mean, I would say Marcus Smart's a little bit better just because he's very aggressive down in the post. Like when he gets that switch and he's willing to shoot more 3-pointers. Not necessarily saying those are good shots, but he's willing to shoot them. So, I mean, you're just swapping that out.
He cost me a lot of money in Game 6, man. Don't even talk about that.
He was chucking up threes, but I think Derek White is a more high IQ shooter, high IQ scorer. So you have him, you have Brogdon, you fill in Jaylen Brown's spot with a Kevin Durant, which is obviously an upgrade. Kevin Durant's going to go down as top 10 all time in the NBA. With Jason Tatum and Robert Williams, I mean, that is a scary lineup that is championship worthy. And you still get to keep your bench with Grant Williams, Al Horford, and things like that. So I like the deal.
But you lose the edge that made them special, right? And we can go back to historical defense led by Defensive Player of the Year, Marcus Smart. I think you lose a lot there. So if I'm them, I'm offering more assets up front, more draft picks, so that I won't have to give up a Marcus Smart, in my opinion. And, a Derek White is replaceable. Again, they traded a first-round pick for him. You can go ahead and give up that first-round pick right back to them if they want it, and additional picks. I just can't get rid of Marcus Smart because he does bring that edge defensively, and he makes that team go. Like, he's the engine of that team. Jason Tatum is a star player of that team, but I feel like Marcus Smart is the engine, and he was just put in the bad situation last year to be the point guard, which that's not what he's great at. He's fairly decent at it, but he's not great at that, and which is why they brought in Brogdon. But yes, I'm going back and forth with them, not giving them Marcus Smart. And if KD does go to the Celtics, my goodness, Celtics, Warriors, more than likely once again, unless the Lakers make some crazy stuff, which I highly doubt. So it'll be a rematch, and I think that's what a lot of people would look forward to. Would you agree or disagree with that?
No, I mean, I definitely think that the Celtics would become the favorites. I think a lot of people are still sleeping on James Harden and the Sixers because that's still such a really good team.
Skinny Harden or what?
Skinny Harden, he's staying in shape. Harden, this is the Harden that knows he's getting paid one last time. I mean, he has a player option at the end of this year, so he can get one more extension after this fitness goal that he's trying to hit. I don't know if any of you guys have been seeing him, but this man is getting fit out here. We're popping up at different gyms and everything like that. So I think the Sixers are my team that I'm going to be placing a pre-season bet on to at least make it to the finals. That's my dark horse team. But yeah, I just think the only thing that would suck is hearing the same exact thing over and over and over for Kevin Durant about this team swept you. Now you're joining them. Where have we seen this before? And then if they win a championship, like, does that tarnish KD's like memory or his legacy even more if this trade goes through?
So if you're the Sixers, which you're gonna put a bet on them, would you trade Tobias Harris, Thibault for Harrison Barnes and Rashawn Holmes?
No, not if. No, I think Tobias Harris makes too much money to where I in my eyes I think the Kings should stay away from that deal.
No. From the Sixers' perspective, understanding that you have a 2-year window, understanding that you need to get off his contract, and that you won't lose much from that, from like a basketball production standpoint. Do you go out and get a HB and then have a really good backup for Joel Embiid?
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
I think so. I
think there's deals out there for Tobias Harris where it makes more sense for them. I mean, it makes sense for them to go after HB. HB would be like a lower end kind of version of what Tobias
on an
Harris
expiring deal, though.
And then the Rashawn Holmes as a backup is a killer, right? He is expiring. I mean, if I want to put him in a good place after what happened to Bridges out there in Charlotte, maybe you reach out to them and see if you can get like a Gordon Hayward who's on an expiring and a Kelly Oubre who's on an expiring, and maybe just pick up the wing depth and see what happens there. But again, to have that
I think Rashawn Holmes is a little bit more enticing, man. I just feel like when you need
Gordon
to
Hayward
give breaks.
Gordon Hayward is better than Barnes.
How do you say how?
He can just do a little bit more. I mean, he can become.
He hasn't played. He hasn't played. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I mean, we're talking about availability being the best ability, right?
Yeah, that's true. He does get hurt, but being the third string on that team, he could be something. I mean, he could be what he was in Boston. And look how good he was in Boston until he got hurt. So, I think they just keep their team though. If you're trying to build something right now, there's only 2 years left on Tobias Harris's deal, right? 2 years left on his contract as well. You might as well stick it out with this trio, and it's not like that trio's something to sniff at. You know what I mean? Like something to look over. That is a good trio between him, Embiid, and Tobias. So it's just stacking them with shooters, and I think getting PJ Tucker was huge. So
it was. All right, so let's move on to the big news from this morning. The Wizards, Raptors, Hornets, Kings, Heat, and Hawks, along with the Knicks, have expressed interest in Donovan Mitchell per Shams. Vince, who will ultimately win the Mitchell sweepstakes?
I think it's gonna be the New York Knicks. The Knicks just have all the picks that I think the Jazz would want to benefit from. I think they have 3 or 4 2023 first round picks from multiple different teams. So the 2023 draft class, for those who don't know, is expected to be one of the most loaded draft classes in a very, very long time.
They always say that.
Yeah, but this one's loaded from top to bottom. This one's crazy.
They always say that.
Scoot Henderson, Wembanyama, The dude, that Mexican kid. I mean, this 2023 class looks like it's about to be gross. And on top of that, they just got 5 first-round picks for Rudy Gobert. I think they're going to take the OKC approach. And if that's the case, you want those assets, you want those picks, and the Knicks can give that to them. I think it's just going to be a 3-team deal. And I sent you one that
Yep.
I think it's a little unrealistic because I did it kind of like on a whim on the spot. But the Kings could be a part of a 3-team deal that gets Donovan Mitchell to the Knicks. And I think that makes a little bit of sense, which would be Harrison Barnes and Donovan Mitchell go to the Knicks. Derrick Rose, Evan Fournier, Rashawn Holmes, and Emmanuel Quickly will go to the Jazz, along with 3 2023 first-round picks from the Knicks and a 2025 first-round pick from the Knicks. And the Kings would get Cam Reddish, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Obi Toppin, and a second-round pick from the Knicks.
That's
Because, I mean,
interesting.
we're the team that would be helping them land Mitchell, and they also get Harrison
Does that
Barnes.
make the Kings better though? And that's an honest question. Like, is Cam Reddish better than HB? Is Nickeil better than HB? Is Obi Toppin better than Rashawn Holmes? The answer is no.
So this is my only counter to does it make them better? It would be I mean, in talent wise, it's a no, right? Because HB is better than Cam, and
Hmm.
Rashawn Holmes is better than Obi and Nickeil Alexander Walker, right? But what it does do is it opens up the door to at least allowing Keegan to play his actual role, which is
Yep.
that stretch four. It defines that, right? And on
Yep.
top of that, you have a lot of flexibility now with the defensive versatility of a Nickeil Alexander Walker, as well as Cam Reddish, who has shown his defensive upside as well. And then you can also see a Malik Monk, Kevin Herter lineup, see things like that. I think Obi Toppin has definitely shown improvements as a player. But guess who also showed improvement during the summer league, which was Nemias Queta, who was a beast, and maybe he becomes that second to third string center that gets those minutes and gets a little bit of that run because you still have Alex Len there. So does it make them better? Maybe not right away. But on top of that, a lot of these guys are on 1 years. You get a second round pick, and you get to see the upside potential of a Cam, of a Walker, who was really good back in his time with the Pelicans, as well as Obi Toppin, who showed upside at the end of the season. So, is it a realistic trade? Probably not, but it was something that I threw out there, and I do think the Kings can play as a part of any 3-team deal.
It's something that the Knicks faithful would love you for. I mean, you're getting Spider Mitchell and Harrison Barnes in that deal. Holy
Yeah.
smokes!
Yeah,
Uh,
HB and Donovan Mitchell. I mean, from the Jazz side too, at least they get to stay competitive, right? They get a center right away that's under contract on a team friendly deal. You get a nice young point guard and
nah,
Emmanuel Quickly. I
they'll get
mean,
blown out every night. I'm not.
right, but I mean, like you get to at least stay competitive. You know what I mean? Shooters and Evan Fournier. They probably move on from Fournier and Mike Conley in a different deal that gets them a first round pick. So I don't know.
So they're they're dismantling the entire team. In other
Yeah,
words,
yeah. I mean, what are they doing with Mike Conley if they get rid of Mitchell? They're for sure trading him. Bojan Bogdanovic is going to get traded. He's on a 1 year that can provide shooting
that's
for a
someone
team
that the
that needs
Kings should
it.
go after. Now that is someone that I would offer easily a first round pick. Easily. If Derek White got you a first round pick, Bojan Bogdanovic is without question landing you a first round pick. That's how I'm seeing that.
35-year-old on expiring gets you a first.
Easy.
I think he's 35. He might be 33.
He's 35.
Bojan Bogdanovic is
He's
in his
a
mid
hooper.
30s.
He's a hooper. He's a hooper. I don't think he's 35, but
He's in
he's
his
a
mid
hooper.
30s. Let me see. He's 33. I'm sorry. He's
Okay.
33. His
I'm
birthday's in
still doing
April, so
it.
he just turned 33. So he's 33 on expiring.
What's good, Richie, Seb, Side Kings? I say the same Mitchell not coming to sack. So, question for you, man: would you trade a first round pick and De'Aaron Fox for Spider Mitchell?
A first round pick and De'Aaron Fox for Spider Mitchell?
Yeah, and then Spider becomes your point guard.
I'd consider it. The only reason why I would consider it is just based on the history, but I mean, that would be something you ponder on, and I would want Bogdanovich back if I'm giving that first. So it'd be Spida and Bogdanovich if I'm giving up that first
So,
round
are you
pick.
giving up 2 first round picks, Fox for Bogdanovich and Mitchell?
No, I'm doing Fox if the only way I do a Fox for Mitchell is if it's like a second round pick involved. Like I get that Donovan Mitchell has had a lot of playoff success and he's been really well. But
Ooh, look at Vince defending. I love it. Look at Vince defending De'Aaron Fox. I thought you could be like, yeah, in a heartbeat
no,
right now.
I
I'm
think
like,
no, I think
oh.
De'Aaron Fox is a really good basketball player. I mean, you put him in different situations. How successful could he be? This is the first time in his entire career the Kings have truly built around him with players that make sense
So
for his
can he
play
be as
style.
good as Spida? Right? Like, is
That's
that
the question.
is
That's the real question.
right? So is that going to be like the goal for a De'Aaron Fox to reach the heights that Spida Mitchell has reached? So that's why I'm asking the question. Like Vivek sees this trade and he's like, I want to win now, right? Do I make this trade now? They're both. I mean, he's a year and a half older, almost 2 years older than Fox, but I mean, who cares? Like you're thinking right now, they're both relatively young still. One has had more success than the other. Similar guards, obviously. You know, one's a better shooter, but do you make? It's interesting, right? Like
I would do. I'll put it to you this way: straight up, I would do Fox for Mitchell. But you throw in a first round pick, I think King's
they're
first round
not
pick
doing
is
that
very
first round.
valuable.
But they're not
I'm
doing
asking for
straight
more
up.
conversation. No. What I'm saying is if that's the only way you're getting a first round pick, I would do Fox in a second or a lottery protected first round pick for Mitchell. I mean, I just don't think that you're getting that much of a downgrade from what that is. But at the same time, I don't think Mitchell or the Jazz say we want Fox for a Mitchell deal. I think they're gonna want those picks, and they're willing to
But they can go.
do the
But
OKC route,
in that
which is
situation, then they can flip Fox for picks too, for like less picks. But you
way
know what I
less
mean,
picks.
like
Way less picks.
right. So is it more feasible, or do they keep him this year? Raise his stock because then his stock's gonna be high because he's probably gonna average like 30 points a game because he's gonna take every shot with the Jazz. And then do you flip him and get similarly what you are asking for? Say the Knicks are desperate at the deadline. I can't offer you, Spida, but De'Aaron Fox sounds pretty good right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that the
You
most
get De'Aaron
feasible
Fox
trade
for
right now?
2023 first rounders instead of maybe.
It's definitely something to think about though, because like
I
you're
would do
fit.
Mitchell. I would do Mitchell for Fox though. Like if you're asking me who would I rather have or what would I rather do, I think Mitchell is a more like a better overall player than Fox has shown so far in his career. Like Fox is really good though, so we
Yeah,
can't take away how good of a player Fox really is. But if you're trying to say I want to win now, and you have two players that you can look at and say, who would you rather have? I'm going Donovan Mitchell every time, right? So that considers maybe a lottery protected first round pick, but we can't act as if Fox didn't show when you put the ball
right,
back in his hands, he can average over 20 points
right.
per game. He can average 25, 5, and 5 easily.
Easy,
But does that result in wins? Because when Mitchell
hundred
does it,
percent.
he's made it to the playoffs when he add those numbers.
Every single year.
When Fox does it, his team is on the lottery. So one person is doing it better, but also one team was always built better. Is this the
One
team that
hundred
finally
percent.
built around Fox that now it makes sense for him to average those numbers and now they're winning? And that's the question that the Kings front office needs to ask themselves, because if Donovan Mitchell is truly attainable for a De'Aaron Fox deal, you have to consider it because Mitchell's still under contract. He's a really good player. He fits the timeline. And to say you have a duo of Mitchell, who's top 15 in his position, or not even top 15. I mean, at that shooting guard, point guard position, he's probably like top 10 right now in the league.
He's a
And
top
then
15 player overall.
you have Domantas Sabonis again. He's a top 25 player in the league. So you can have two of those guys on your team with the nice assets that you've added. It's something to think about for sure. I would do it if I'm the Kings just to acquire Mitchell, but I don't know.
4 firsts for Donovan Mitchell. Kings are going to the playoffs every year with Sabonis, Fox, and Mitchell, and those picks become late picks. Your thoughts on that?
4 first round pick. The thing is they were going to give up 4 first round picks. They have to call over to Atlanta and say,
Renounce my rights.
here's that 2024 pick unprotected. You can have it. So they unchained themselves. They're going to have to give up what is it, 20, they give up 23, 25, 27,
7 and 29.
and 29. So that's the three
Jesus.
first round picks. And then to make the money work, you're going to have to give up something else. So you're giving up HB, right? I mean, you got to, if you want to have Fox, Sabonis, and Mitchell, you got to make the money work. So you're giving up HB, you're giving up Holmes, and then the 4 first round picks. And they're Kings first round picks, but the thing is like
They're valuable, bro.
yeah, those are like gold. Those are like gold for some people.
So for someone like Photo Chris to say we don't have a package for Mitchell, the Kings have a great package for Mitchell. They have the picks. Once they renounce it to the Hawks, they have a semi-young player in Davion Mitchell who fits whatever the hell they're doing over there, and they can offer an expiring deal to make the salary work. So they have. I'm telling you what, bro. I would bet on those Kings picks over the Knicks picks. That's just me, though.
But those Knicks picks, 3 of them are all in 2023, and it's from different teams. The only counter to that is one of them is the Cavs, one of them is the Mavs, and one of them is theirs. So
Point exactly.
They'd be all like mid to late first round picks.
Right.
So that's where the counter would be. But
you don't know what the Kings will be in 27 and 29. Like those could be top 3 picks.
If you have that trio and you're not in the playoffs, you got a problem. You got a real problem.
Oh, I mean, yes, but if you're Danny Ainge, you're like gambling on the fact that it's the Kings.
Right. They're going to gambling on self-destruction.
Exactly. The Kings receive OG Anunoby, Kem Birch, Rashawn Holmes, Harrison Barnes, a 2023 first round pick, a swap, a second. Would that even make sense for money wise? Yeah, it would, huh?
Yeah, it makes sense money wise because it would be Rashawn, the $18 million for Barnes expiring, so that's 23. Birch and I think OG is like right there at the same. Yeah, so I think it matches up money wise. But then you go 2023 first round pick swaps, you're going to have to give that unprotected. They're not swapping nothing in 2023. That's crazy. Yep. You're giving that up unprotected. You're giving up that second round pick unprotected for sure. And you're also giving up another second round pick from Indiana in 2025 and a first round pick swap in 2026. I mean, that's a lot of first round picks right there for OG Anunoby. And let me tell you right now.
I'm doing this trade in a heartbeat.
I'm still doing it. I'm still doing
it. Now, if there's an ideal, role player with, upside, borderline, like almost all-star type level player, it's him, right? It's like the dude that's already averaged 20 points in his career. That's a defensive monster when he's healthy. And a lot of his injuries have been just like weird stuff, like not even like ACL tears or anything like that. Like they've been like his appendix rupture and like his dad dying and his finger. Like since last Thursday, I still haven't recovered my finger. Right? I think it's broken. But yet again, like you have messed up fingers too, so I don't know. Like it just could be really damaged. But I can't even move my hand sometimes, bro. Like it's tough.
This is how I know I'm getting older.
Since that last time we hooped.
The last time we hooped, did you know that after that hoop session, I was already telling y'all I had a bum knee, right? So after that last hoop session, there was a whole week. So this is how long you and I haven't talked or seen each other. But like it's been a whole week from that day that I wasn't able to bend my knee. I could not bend it. I had a brace on for like a whole 10 days. And then this past week, I finally was able to bend it. And I've been stretching like crazy, walking backwards, the knees over toe guy. Shout him out on YouTube. He's crazy good at explaining things for me. And then now I'm finally getting back into hooping again. Oh my gosh, my shot is just wetter than wet right now. It's like throwing the ball into the ocean because I cannot miss. It's crazy.
Oh my god, I've never seen it, but we'll see though.
Oh, you didn't see it. Don't make me bring up what happened in that damn last game that we played. Stop it. You ain't never seen it,
bro. You missed almost every shot.
No, that's not true. That's not true. I hit 2 game winners, clamped you up. And I don't think I lost a single game while I was there.
You literally went for 4 for 25 that game.
No.
Don't lie. Like you missed. No. Yeah, like you made shots when it mattered, but you missed about 25 shots. Easy.
No way. I didn't take that many shots. Chill, bro. I don't take 25 shots in a game ever.
No, not in a game, but in those 2 hours of games.
in those two
Easily.
hours a
You
game.
shot the ball like shit. Don't lie about it. Like you
No, you're
make key
tripping,
shots,
bro.
but you
What
shot
are
the
you
ball
talking
like
about?
garbage.
Bro, you're tripping, bro. You can ask Tyson. That's crazy. I was shooting 3 pointers
Ask
and turning
him.
around and looking
Ask
at you
him.
guys. That's
Ask
crazy.
him. Ask
Yeah,
him.
ask him. Go ahead. All right. That's Stat Boy Tyson.
Easily.
Enter the chat.
Stat
Stat Boy
Boy
Tyson.
Tyson enter the chat.
Enter the chat.
King
Stat Boy
straight.
Tyson. Enter the chat. That's
Kings
crazy.
trading the world for Mitchell is nuts. Mitchell gonna get exposed without Rudy Gobert to cover his bad defense. See, I don't agree with that, man. Donovan Mitchell was literally told to be the entire offense. And when you have a center who can't really score anywhere near the basket or especially outside of the basket, and it makes life difficult. So you add a Sabonis to a Donovan Mitchell, and you're talking business at that point. And yes, defensively, like he needs to get in better shape in key moments. But when you are an offense and your usage rate is incredibly high, like it's gonna happen. Like you're not gonna want to exert that much energy. He is more than capable of being a great defender in the NBA. I mean, the guy has a 6'11" wingspan. He was known coming into the draft process to being a really good defender. That hasn't left him, man. Like it's there. It's just like Fox. Like they're capable guys. Like they're not Trae Youngs where they're limited athletically. These guys are capable. It's just a matter of are they going to buy in? Are they going to be in better? And it's really freaking hard. People don't understand this, man. It's really hard to play both ways the entire game, man. I mean, I just feel like some people just ignore that fact. Like it's a lot of work and a lot of energy, man.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be interesting to see Donovan Mitchell in this new role because he's going to be tested for sure. I think there's a lot of people that have that mindset of, is Mitchell really that good? And yes. I think he is. I mean, I think he is. I think he is. But a lot of people question it, right? They said that he had a nice defense to fall back on, Rudy Gobert being his safety net out there on the perimeter. So we'll see. We'll definitely see, but I do believe that his athleticism, his heart, his drive, his leadership abilities, the way he plays on the court, he stays so composed even in big moments. I mean, I just think back to that game against the Nuggets where him and Jamal Murray are just going back and forth against
100%.
each other. I love seeing that game. That's the game where I realized Donovan Mitchell is that guy.
He did it with that Bojan too, and like a one-legged Mike Conley, and that's what people don't understand. It's like they forget all the things that he's never missed the playoffs. Like the Jazz stayed relevant even after trading Gordon, and that was because of Spider Mitchell's like just offensive brilliance, man. And to me, this is the comment of the show. Like, and this comes from XI Picks. If we are trying to get to the playoffs and trade for a high caliber player, we have to give up picks. And if things don't work out with us, then we'll trade Fox, Sabonis, etc. for first-round picks. That is the name of the game. You don't lose. You have to be aggressive if you're the Sacramento Kings. You're not Brooklyn. You're not LA. You're not I can't say the Knicks. You're not, Miami. Like you have to take
risks. That was purpose. That was purpose, bro. Don't do that to them like that. They're the kings of the East, bro. Chill. Don't be mean like that.
Facts. But I mean, again, XI Picks, great comment, and I say that because people always complain or talk about, oh well, the Nets gave up all these picks. They're about to get them all back if they trade KD. Like
they're about to get them all back if they trade Ben Simmons. They're gonna get some of them back. People are gonna keep thinking that he's not worth picks. When he comes back and he plays defense again, he shows that he can pass. Ben Simmons getting you at least 2 first-round picks. You can bet
100%, and that's why XI Picks makes a great point here. Like if it doesn't work out for whatever reason, of a Spider, Fox, Sabonis trio doesn't work out in a weird way, you can always get some assets for these types of players, man. Because again, they're only 20, 25, and 26 respectively. So
the only thing is that if you're giving up all those picks, I mean, you have to believe. First off, you have to see Monty get the extension. That has to be built in, and then you have to start seeing that this Kings team does have a culture. And I think that's a big reason why they brought in Mike Brown. But the only way you make the change is if you aggressively start paving the way for a change to be made. And if you start bringing in 3 players like Sabonis, Fox, and Mitchell, you have built yourself a true foundational piece, a true foundational trio that you just have to build around correctly, and you have to give the person that built it the benefit of the doubt on a lot of moves that he's going to be making
100%.
for the next few years. So you get to have Monty, you get to have Mike Brown, you get to have a team all under contract for the same amount of time. That's why I would be willing to give up just those picks to build that trio. And for those who don't think that trio makes them better, that's cap.
That's
That's
crazy.
cap. That's cap.
That's crazy.
That
Shout out
trio
to my
makes
boy
you better.
Kagan.
That
Yes.
trio for sure makes you better. That trio for sure makes you better.
That's crazy as hell, man. Shout out to my boy Kenny, man. We'll do a show soon, man. As soon as the kid's born, I have this, off my shoulders. Like, it'll happen, man. But Vince, that's gonna do it, y'all, man. 30 minutes in, we broke it down. Kevin Durant potentially going to Boston. Doesn't make sense, does it not? Spider Mitchell. I would love for him to go to the Kings, and I think the Kings have the assets once they renounce it to the Hawks. Again, 2023, 2025, 27, 29, Davion Mitchell, Harrison Barnes. Make it happen, Monty. That would be huge. And then they'd be left out without a 3. But right now, I mean, they don't have a backup 3, so he just moved Herter to the 3. And it gets what people want, right? Like, they want, like, this athletic shooting 5, like, starting 5, so...
Yeah, I think the Kings are missing a 3 still, regardless, even with Harrison Barnes on the team. I think we just have 2 stretch 4s that we're just saying are 3. So
exactly, they have 2 4s.
They have 2 4s. They have like 4 4s on this team.
Can you get Bogdanovich, right? Like, if you get Bogdanovich, oof. But like you have to match his contract at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like,
throwing Holmes. That's what you throw Holmes to make that contract work.
And then you throw in like
Davion, Holmes,
yeah,
and Barnes with
if you get Bojan, oh my gosh, stop it.
And then your
Bojan cutting off a Sabonis in the high post,
and then your bench is still with Monk and Herter.
Oh jeez.
And Keon Ellis. That'd be crazy.
That would be crazy.
Guess what? I still think the Knicks are gonna make this deal before the Kings do.
Yeah, but make sure you guys check out Vince's show with Coach Nick from B-Ball Breakdown on Wednesday. It's gonna be a hell of a show. I'm a nerd for film sessions, so I'm intrigued to see what Coach Nick says. Yeah, I love Coach Nick. I mean, he's the pioneer, the OG, the guy that really made this stuff mainstream. So shout out to him. We'll do a reaction video to that video, so make sure you guys check him out. Vince's podcast on Wednesday.
Yeah, man. Wednesday, 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Coach Nick of B-Ball Breakdown joins the show. It'll be a lot of fun. I think that the Kings are going to be running a lot of Princeton offense, and he made a video back when Mike Brown was coaching the Lakers about how he actually saw it as very successful and how many different offensive sets you can run through the Princeton offense, to where I'm excited to see how that could be utilized for Keegan Murray's development, as well as making the Kings successful. So we'll go over all of that and more. YouTube.com/SacKingsNation. You guys go check it out Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah. Low action between Sabonis and Keegan Murray is going to be fun to watch, man. So they're both very capable of doing those types of things. But yes, thank you guys so much. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Have us in your prayers, man. Little baby Leo, he's on the way. So I can say AD is on the way. Let's go, man.
Let's get it.
Thanks, guys. See you guys later. Peace.